everyone, live from CalJam again, and this time I have Dr. Suzanne Humphries, who's one of my major heroes. So I'm really excited for this video and to meet her and talk to her more. I've met her once before, but of course that wasn't enough. So what would you tell a new parent about vaccines?
I would tell the new parent to talk to an old parent, especially an old parent who has children that are 20 years old or higher that they've never vaccinated, and ask them how their health was, how many rounds of antibiotics they had, how many doctor visits they had, how many chronic diseases they have, how they dealt with illnesses when they come up, and I would get a chiropractor on board for your primary care health for your family. And research as much as you can on both sides, because you know the worst thing for me is to see somebody just listen to somebody off the cuff and not vaccinate, and then when the shit hits the fan and somebody gets an infection, they lose their cookies. Okay, you have to know how you're going to deal with infections whether your children are vaccinated or not. So don't think that just because you vaccinate everything's going to be fine. You need to understand nutrition, you need to understand the use of vitamin C, you need to understand what real primary care is, which is actually health care and not sick care, which is what the well baby visits are all about, which you don't need. So I think the most valuable resource to a new parent, it's just like in the old days, it's the older parents who have already been through it and done it, maybe made their mistakes, maybe have 5 kids, 2 that are vaccinated and 3 that aren't, and it's not a coincidence that the ones that aren't vaccinated are always healthier than the ones that are vaccinated.
These well visits, I mean, I think we should just call them vaccine visits, really, because it feels like that's what it is to me. And
well, the thing is, they'll vaccinate them whether they're well or not anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my gosh,
some of the worst disasters that we know about, that you hear of the stories that Polly gets on the bus, are people that get vaccinated while their kids are sick, and the doctor says, well, you know, it's probably okay. Don't ever let a needle go into your child when they're sick. That's for sure.
Yeah. And you saw it. I love how your story started when you were a nephrologist at the hospital, right? And you saw it in your kidney patients after flu shots, right?
Well, they told me. I mean, the patient said to me, I was fine until I had that vaccine. So, you know, at first I thought, what? You know, what are you talking about? And so I looked into what's in vaccines and the potential for inflammation and the case reports that are out there all over the medical literature from decades of people having acute kidney failure after vaccination, after flu shots, which is what I saw. So I started my research there, and it just moved into the childhood vaccines, because you can't see what's happening to the adults and not wonder how a newborn baby or a pregnant mother or 69 vaccines, or doses I should say, of vaccines is going to do in a child, when I saw what 1 dose can do to an elderly person or even just a 40-year-old.
Why do you think more doctors and nurses don't wake up when it's right in front of their face?
You know, everybody asks me that question. I think I must have been absent in medical school the day that they did that, you know, that hypnosis technique on everybody that made them believe that everything they did was the best that could be offered, and that the CDC and the World Health Organization can do no wrong. So I can't understand it. I can't explain it, because it's not that the doctors are evil. It's not that they're trying to do harm to people, but they're incredibly impermeable to new information, especially if it goes against what they've already been told. But there were a few doctors who stopped taking their own flu shots, and who, you know, stopped giving their own kids excessive amounts of vaccines, but they still, all in all, believed in vaccination and refused to stand next to me, you know, when I was writing my manifesto about, you know, the problem with vaccination to renal patients. There was nobody that was willing to stand there and say, I agree with her, even though they did in you know, behind closed doors. There was some support, but out in the open, nothing. I have no actually illusion or hope that doctors are going to start waking up. I really don't.
No?
I saw the potential for that, and I just had to walk away from it. But I think parents waking up, because there are way more parents than there are doctors, and I have seen some parents turn around the minds of some doctors. So I think parents, that's my mission, is to get parents to see, because they're the ones at the interface between their child and that needle, and they're the ones that are responsible when things go bad. So they're the ones that really I am interested in getting them to explore on their own everything the CDC has to say, everything you have to say, everything I have to say, and then coming to their own determination. Doctors, no.
not going to happen?
I think we just need,
I still had my fingers crossed.
But why? You know what? You really, for the majority of doctor visits, really, they're not necessary. I think it's just better that we abandon them and only use them when they're truly needed, when there's an organ failure, a broken bone.
Crisis care.
Exactly.
Vaccination, one of the things that I've noticed, I mean, that's really the foundation for the house of cards, because it creates lifelong customers in some cases, and usually there will be some issue the more and more and more toxins and vaccines that you get, and that creates a customer base for all of these medications, for depression, for anxiety, for seizures, for type 1 diabetes, all of these things. I mean, and cancer, of course, eventually. How can we stop it? What can we do? You talked about the parents. I started learntherisk.org. Everyone go there. I know most of you who follow me know all about it, but we did launch a billboard near CalJam in honor of CalJam and everyone here, just 2 blocks away. Please help, please volunteer. We're starting chapters in all different states and areas. We have flyers, free flyers to distribute. What else can we do?
Educate yourselves. That's really the best thing, I think, because you're not going to convince anybody else. I mean, your healthy children are good evidence, but you're not going to have necessarily assurance of healthy children if you don't educate yourselves about health and disease, not just about the ingredients of vaccines. That's not enough. You have to understand how to maintain a healthy immune system and spread the word the best that you can in the most grounded, calm, educated way that you can, and it's possible. Any parent can do it. I've seen parents without even a high school education become better able to debate the issues with health and disease and vaccination than a doctor.
So, on that note, healthiness. What supplements should everybody be on every day?
Food, good food, whole food. Organic, if you can, grow your own as much as you can, have backyard chickens, have your own garden, do your sprouts in the spring. And there's nothing like good holistic nutrition supplements. I'm sorry, but there's no way I'm ever going to sign on to the "you need masses of supplements" campaign. You can't eat a garbage diet and think you're going to save yourself with supplements.
True.
Now,